Now, what you're about to see now is the Book of Troth, aka Truth. This is the book that was taunted in front of families and law enforcement alike. Now, while doing so, there was Elders Holder and Elder Westfall. One of the two, both of them, at many times during the search, the subsequent finding of the death, and an investigation, they and others you're about to see were openly taunting the local law enforcement, and at times like 2022, directly tagging themselves and sharing a post the families did. You're about to see the book. They made their Sons of Odin a known domestic terrorism threat by the Joint Terrorism Task Force and the FBI through Agent Michael Curtis, the agent over me. You all were laughing, making fun of my page, what I've been talking about. My stories never changed. The families, witnesses, suspects, their stories may change. Mine stayed true. The only thing I've done over the years is add to. Not only the admissions that you're about to see by them and their family, their friends, but the taunting of the law enforcement and at times families. What you're about to see is the book that they loosely based their Nordic religion in folk, like club, about, including we're enemies of theirs. And with this methed out trailer trash drug ring, their enemies are the ones rolling on them, have rolled, future will roll, and snitch on them in that drug ring in their operation. To them, these sacrifices are beneficial. They picked apart a religion and used it as a disguise to base their own little beliefs in a little club, the Sons of Odin, off of. You will see later on where one family, how they acted. I don't discredit anyone, so I showed them a IMPD officer, Garland Odell Cooper, number badge 739, out of Indianapolis Southeast Side IMPD. Admissions that there is ties and connections to this drug ring, the suspects in and around this drug ring, the dealers, the users, back to cases in Indianapolis, tied back to Delphi, Flora, Karina, McClurkin, Logansport, the dad, Daniel Height, and 30 other cases. After these videos, you'll see the other 30 cases that I'm going to start on. There's 70 cases, well, 71 now, across the state of Indiana in the areas of operation of this drug ring. And this little pick apart on what to believe, down to human sacrificing. With the help of Elders Westfall and Elder Holder. This group, Brad Holder, you've seen the evidence, the truth, the taunting of the police, including Todd Click, the only investigator that actually treated me like I was a human being and listened and looked at what even Michael Curtis had him in Delphi with Joint Terrorism Task Force. You all laughed until it was forced out of them. Yes, we are on an investigation. They remained silent on what that investigation was. And keep in mind, you can pause at any time further to look and read what is being shown. I mentioned their meth heads at the time? Saxon Knight, prison gang, white supremacist, Gabrielis, and others. They sure picked apart the Nazism part of this book now, didn't they? Patrick Westfall, Elder Westfall. Oops, did I get the name wrong? Elder Holder. More like Little Dick Holder, Little Dick Westfall. Just like the horde of the little dick twats you got following you. None of you have the balls to stand to a guy in a wheelchair. Oh, but the threats behind the screen keep coming. Like I said, feel free to pause anywhere in this video as often as you need. And I want you to keep in mind, Anna Williams, you'll see her full conversation. If you've looked back in other videos, you've seen my conversations with Becky Patty, as well as the investigators, the agent over me, Michael Curtis. The same Michael Curtis that did surveillance on Ron Logan's property, the ones coming on and off of his property. Why do you think the FBI went after Ron Logan and his property so fast? The same investigation my intel led them there. On what? The Sons of Odin. They were looking at least 2.5 months before the girl's case as a domestic terrorism threat to life. I wonder why. And they're taunting it in front of everybody's faces here soon. You're about to see. I've tried from the very beginning. Sorry it's not been as a creator. I haven't tried to be. I tried to be a truth teller, a patriot, Army veteran. I swore an oath to my country and my nation, her people. So help me God. Against all enemies, foreign and domestic. I was let go. Why? It wasn't because I wasn't telling the truth. It was the fact that his lies, disregard, and negligence allowed deaths. The same time frame as the mass shootings down in Florida, FBI was forced to come out. They knew intel. They refused to act. It cost children and adults alike. The same time frame up here, yet again, Larry Nassar, they refused to listen to the victims, begging the Indianapolis FBI for help for years, and allowed a predator of children to go amongst and keep going, committing crimes against children. Sounds familiar, don't it, Michael? You let me go. Why? Because I went to the Department of Justice and the Homeland Security, proving to them, which only in return sent you everything I sent them, showing your negligence, lies, and disregard in Karina McClurkin's case allowed other cases. Officer Garland Odell Cooper, your admission, your own department's admission of ties and connections between Delphi, Karina, Flora, Logansport fires, the dad, Daniel Haidt, the same ring, the same ties and connections go back to recent cases like baby Amir Robertson, among others. How many children's lives must be taken before actions are taken? How many times are they going to taunt even federal law enforcement, openly admitting, showing you where to look, their handiwork, where they got their handiwork, what they know. The middle and last part of this is going to really piss you people off. This has been in front of your eyes this whole time. I've never changed my story. I've only added to it. The suspects, the kingpin families, the Go-To Boys system, and allowing these individuals to keep killing. I was let go as an FBI informant for why? Trying to protect future victims like myself and their lives, and the victims that have lost their lives to these sick individuals. I was let go. Why? Because I was trying to protect lives, to uphold my oath, the same oath many of these individuals took when they took office, took a role as an agent, law enforcement, state police, local, elected officials that you've seen in the Good Old Boys Club, and like Jamie Noel, they used to make millions off the backs of us citizens. And they're allowing the lower tier dealers, serial killers, to keep on their acts. There's millions, and there's names that need to be protected. Elected officials, elected positions must be obtained to keep this ring afloat and going for more decades to come, like the decades it's already existed, and has been allowed to buy their way through, and if need be, pay somebody off, elected or otherwise. Threats, coercion, the same thing being done openly to these families, the witnesses, the victims, the people that are willing to stand up, speak up. Like the threats to my life, if I keep talking, I'll be the next one that vanishes. No need to pack my bags where I'm going. Like Tyler French's, I know where you live. See you soon. Actions that I had to get as an active informant, a protective order against somebody that was involved in Karina McClurkin's case that went on to have a role in the Delphi case and more. The criminal network and the criminal network analysis here be shown the first 30 cases, then the 71 cases, 19 children across Indiana, the areas of operation of this drug ring. Like I said, keep in mind, when Garland and Del Cooper admits when they look, it's not far-fetched like Anna calls it. It's facts. It's the truth. The same truth that she was bashing, like Liggett, when she was laughing, when he was threatening me. You will see that in text. Mind you, she was laughing, egging him on. Don't forget to say this. Don't forget to say that. That was recorded, by the way. So anybody that wants to call me out that was made up, he never did that. It's a lie. Good thing about the one-side law, Indiana, I didn't break the law. I know my laws and my rights. Constitution very well, thank you very much. So the threats of using your power and your badge to shut me up, silence me, keep me from looking at this ring, the ones allowing them to do what they're doing, it wasn't me that pushed the FBI out of the way. It was you. State and local can't afford certain things, certain names, connections, ties and connections. Millions being made, elected officials involved in this, allowing this to go on. If you know where to look, it has been me being a conspiracy theorist. My FBI 1026 and informant files back me up in full. I know what's in them, and I've got the hard copies of each and every single one of those files still in my hand. I've chosen not to be a content creator. Look at me like some of these recent creators, using their platform, sharing, receiving, and then sharing again. Nude 14-year-old girl's underage body. How many other these victims' bodies been shared? How many other these victims were naked? And those pictures were shared. We don't know. This leak in Delphi still is ongoing. And notice how they made a kindred, naming of their group, roll the speaker, self oath. This is what they did to base their sons of Odin off of. And it was the help of Elder Hoarder and Elder Westfall. The ties and connections back to that drug ring and themselves, it's about to be shown in the 30 cases, including Libby, Abigail, Karina, Baby Amir Robertson. Shall we go on? Flora, Logansport, Daniel Haidt, Marion, Javon Blackwell and his two sons. We're about to show you each and every single one of their ties, among many others. Many of these locals know a hell of a lot more than what they're willing to say, and you're about to see that in full. These videos are already made, pre-made. It's just a matter of when I decide to drop them. So keep that in mind. These full videos are already where it needs to be. In the event if something happens to me, they're dropping no matter what. I've got more than one person in more than one state, and I've got it even outside of the United States. It's going to leak in full, no matter what. I want you to pay attention to this sword and the machete you'll be seeing in the next part of these videos. The middle part. The weapon that they're parading around, taking pictures with. Look what's on it. Allowed to rust. Look what's on the Bowie knife. Allowed to rust. Trophies of their crimes they're flaunting in front of the public. But like I said, keep a close eye. When you see this, the shape of this, then the trophy of a murder they were showing around like trophies. Fear them. I fear not. This is what's sad. 2022. They were living the anniversary date of these girls' death, and then flaunting this book yet again that they did in February. of 2017. It wasn't just Brad Holder flaunting, or, oops, did I not say Elder Holder? He was openly flaunting this as well at the same time frame, especially in anniversary dates. Notice the date they chose. The date of vengeance or love. They chose vengeance, and they sacrificed their enemies and their families. More than one case. And what's sad, in order to become an elder, they were self-made elders. Why? Read these. What it becomes, how to become a modern day elder. Was there a scholar that was involved in this? Sure seems like it. On becoming an elder in the lore, New Age, you need what? And sitting where? And nobody bothered to ask this when it was openly being taunted in front of you by more than one individual, and the others that you admit are involved. Why did you stop looking? Why did you push the FBI? Why did you have made sure the FBI was not present at the crime scene and keep them at bay if you can? Why? This is the same book you're about to see in the second part of this video in a 3-part video. When we come back, we'll be showing the taunting of the police by more than Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall. You're going to be seeing Gabe Ellis and his little buddies like Hal Stacy, Tyler French, Megan Allen, Rodell, Keegan Callis, or is it Kagan? That's where the real Kagan comes in. Callis and his buddies flaunting around the very weapons, and as in their sword, a machete that had the end cut off. You'll see that in the next part. At the end of this, when we pause, we'll be coming back to the flaunting of the police by more than Brad Holder, by the others as well. The third part, I'm going to say this much: the families and the law enforcement that chose to look, and these families, God bless their souls, and God bless the 8 people, the 4 adults, 4 children I've gotten home alive by attacking this ring and this wannabe Sons of Odin and Kokomo crew. I've gotten 8 people alive home, and then more than one case, actions taken on individuals involved. I've gotten several cases, federal level, hundreds of years, multiple people behind bars. Facts. When I talk about Garland, Odell Cooper, and the Indianapolis Metro Police Department, Southeast District, as well as the Indianapolis Metro PD as a whole, they're connected with the Sheriff's Department as well. They're one and the same. So you mean 2 agencies that are connected now? IMPD, their detectives, this agency is a liar when they looked at Gabriel Ellis, Tyler French, Kyle Stacy, Kygan Kalis, Megan Allen Rodell, Josh Eberling. Bear with me. I went in the house, so you're going to hear the AC in the background, so bear with me. But remember I said, keep an eye on this right here. The shape, the blood that was allowed to rust on this blade right here. Remember I said when to look at that? What's the coincidences? The same blade, machete with the tip cut off to resemble what? During what? The weird thing is, remember I said they were picking and choosing apart this book to fit how they want? But look at that sword. Look at that picture. Where did that picture come from? You're about to see in full. And why I brought up the book of Troth. In English, the Book of Truth. I want you to see this. Right here. And openly taunting the family. Reliving his past. Again, taunting the family on the anniversary date. This is what he has to say to law and more than one victim's family, not just Delphi. He chose these dates, the anniversary dates, after Gabe Ellis was picked up. His brother, his blood brother, was picked up. You remember I said to look close when it comes to that? We'll get to the book of Troth now before we go further. And I want you to keep this badge number and IMPD fresh in your mind. Why? Because just like I said, his real name's Garland. His middle name's Odell. That's what he used on Facebook. That same Facebook that he blocked me right after attacking me, trying to use his badge and his powers to shut me up. After his department, the Indianapolis Metro PD, which is a mix of both the former sheriff's department as well as the Metropolitan Police Department. They've now conjoined forces in what is now IMPD. So you're telling me a sheriff's department, their detectives, and a police department and their detectives are liars when they are tying and connecting the same ring? During this video, you will see the tale of 3 different families. One of the girls' mom, another mother of one of the other girls, what they had to say. And I do have to give the respect where it is due, and it was shown to me. Becky and Mike Patty. The conversations I had on the phone with Mike and the conversations I had with Becky are some of the most respectful. Read everything I sent, responded where they felt need be, but it was the respect given. I do have to hand them that. But the things they knew as a family, the Dilling, Derek's uncle, Del Wood, his most recent Dilling and meth arrest, Joshua Lanks, Derek's, Anna's side of the family, I do have to give her that. The respect that was shown, I'm showing it back. And you will see those conversations both in full. And the respect that was shown back. Now in this video. This, I am not attacking any family, but I'm going to be showing you conversations I had with 3 different families. One of which, she knows her conversations. She decided to look where the 8 families that I helped get their family members home alive. And then when I showed them the IMPD and others, they know more information than they're willing to say. Those conversations with one person that was speaking up and speaking out, things were not making sense, and why weren't things not being pushed? Carrie is a strong, independent woman, and the way they've done her in this case is sickening. And you will see a certain other mother attacking said mother and their beliefs when they spoke up and told the truth, asked the right questions, knowing something was not right and something did not seem right, did not look right. And why were they looking away instead of towards issues that even other agencies, other agents, police officers, detectives did what? When they looked, the families of the 4 children, the 4 adults I got home alive, the cases like Brandy Bradley's and others that did not return, I've been trying to give a voice to the voiceless and trying to get justice where justice is due. So help me God. I took an oath. It was a different oath than this officer and any of the agents and officers, elected officials, they took when they're taking their office. Keep that in mind. So the Lesenby emails, the Detective Hammond before he retired emails, this is going to be before the full breakdown of this entire drug ring. It's a cartel drug ring. Look at the 2018, 2020, and 2022 drug raids. Even most recently, Brandy Bradley, her brother, Michael Bradley, 2018 Law and Order raids, cartel drug ring. The same drug ring that's actually been proven federally is one of the most violent drug rings. It's the same drug ring. Blaine Nelson, after Karina's admitting that he was there, he wasn't in charge of anything, didn't do anything, but he was there when Karina McClurkin lost her life and became a blood brother of Gabriel Ellis and his other blood brothers. You're going to be seeing taunting the law, giving the law where to look, why to look at them, and taunting knowing they stopped looking. Force the feds not to look, not allowing the state police not to look. Remember, Delphi pushed who off the case? The same FBI that when they said this, why did you not want the FBI at the scene? And if possible, keep them at bay at all possible? Why? Why did you push the FBI and federal off the case? What I'll be showing you, and I've shown you in the past, is more than enough for a special federal prosecutor and federal court to step in. But it's going to take the FBI to admit they knew intel and they refused to act. The same time frame. The Florida mass shootings. The school shooting. Uvalde. The same Uvalde that you have Renee Anthony Charles Greeno saying he wants to do, in his own words, himself, against multiple children. Same Greeno that's the threats to my life and his friends, careful for being a snitch. If he's talking about the girl's case and others, he's wanting justice, but if I do, I'm a snitch. Back to his friends, his dealers in this meth drug ring, their Sons of Odin group they made, and this Kokomo cartel drug ring, and the Kokomo crew that he himself belonged to. Keep in mind, Dustin Prater, the co-defendant, this was months before Gabe Ellis's manufacturing of meth, where Liggett responded back in 2008. Months before that, there was an arrest of not Tyler Joe Prince, but Dustin Prater and Derek German. Theft of ammonia at the Ag Solution Center at Prince William Road and 100 South. The same agricultural solution center that another one, her and her boyfriend admitted to killing Nicole Bowen. Why? Because she was about to roll, not on drugs, but it was after more than one child's death, more than one death. She was going to speak the truth on who was behind it, who did it, and why. She was silenced before she could. And remember this lovely, happy couple? Just wait till you see the true side of them, what one's mother thought of them, their boyfriend, and the group they hung around with. The truth. Tears Hellhounds. Indiana. Norse pagan kindred. It's the same one. Brad Holder. Another one that was flaunting publicly, as well as law enforcement. The one showing the runes that were put over the girls. The same one on the anniversary date, just like his buddy you're about to see. And his ring, remember, I said Elder Holder and Elder Westfall. I don't know if I was saying Western or Westfall, but it was Elder Westfall and Elder Holder. Keep this in mind. This is another one that they, Amber Holder and Brad Holder belong to. And look this up on Carroll County Comment. See it for yourself. The only weird thing is when you look when he was actually arrested and when he was charged, instead of being in Delphi, it was moved to Miami County. Why, when it happened right there in Delphi? And one other thing I want to bring up. January, his photo, the Nordic look, the white supremacist look, then the drastic appearance when he was arrested less than 24 hours after the girl's case with a .40 caliber handgun sitting beside him. The same caliber, the magic bullet that they're trying to say belonged to who? I want you to notice something about his face. We're going to look closer. The nose, the cheek. If you look, a Nike high top, too wide, too big. But if you look at a Chuck Taylor, did Abby kick him in the face when he was going to hold her down? It's something I brought up to two different families. And the reactions, like I explained earlier. Becky, the way her and Mike Patty talked to me, I was a human being, treated with respect, and did not discredit anyone. The other, Anna, you're going to see that conversation went a whole different direction, including laughing with Liggett. He was saying he worked at Delphi Police Department. Not as a deputy, not as the responding deputy to Gabriel Ellis. manufacturing of meth. Prince William Road, 100 South. He was the responding officer. The same one making threats to me if I didn't shut up, stop pushing, stop asking questions, doing nothing illegal, but asking the right questions about the right group, the same group that was taunting even them and the families directly in 2022 and ongoing. Keep in mind, some of their friends are content creators making money, thousands, off these girls' cases that they themselves and their friends belong to. Now the girls' school resource officer, he's talking about the jailbreak in Howard County. Just like multiple found unresponsive, dead, clinging to life, getting lifelined, ambulance to the local hospitals. The same jail. He was the school resource officer for the Delphi girls, as well as Flora at the time. Look who he served. No trespassing and protective order for a female school employee. He tells about what? 2 active cartel drug houses and where? I wonder who he's talking about. Like I said, keep an eye on that weapon and the blood covered, allowed to rust, other weapons shown. We'll get to those here in a few. Why bring these up? And if you look, the blood was allowed to dry and starting to rust in these pictures. You can really see the rust and the blood covering of the blade in this picture. And after the girl's case, openly flaunting, just like Brad Holder. Shortly after the girl's case, you'll notice some of these messages between each other, the post, before and after their war, their sacrifice. They were preparing each other for war. Like I said, the drastic look. Openly flaunting crimes and trophies used in more than one murder. This is what makes this gang, this Sons of Odin group, men, the little twats, little pussies, fucking cowards, is who and what they really are. And I want to keep you in mind, Michael Curtis over me. If he acted in Karina McClurkin's case, more than one death would have been prevented. Like I said, Odell was Garland and Del Cooper. This is the part where we're going to get into admissions. And remind you, I'm already a dead man walking. I fear no evil. Fear no men. For I am already walking dead. We're going to get into some forced conversations I had with Tina Riddell. She's acting like she did not know Gabrielis' daughter in her apartment at 105 East Harrison Street. Now, I want you to keep in mind the splatters on the wall. Her guess from cleaning shoes. Why? She was called by her daughter to come help. And she admits right here, tampering with blood evidence. When I asked her of whose blood, she said Delphi. Then she's trying to redact that. I already have it documented. We'll get to that when it comes to the 30 cases. This is the same walkway she was saying was covered in blood on the wall. The steps leading down to the downstairs basement that was padlocked. It was actually double padlocked because more than once the renters were trying to get in the basement. So the homeowner, the renter, had to put a double padlock to keep them from going to that basement. Like I said, at any time, pause this video to read what you want more. After her daughter became pregnant and married to the dealer beside Gabe, Josh Everling, she started really changing her tune against her own daughter. Her own involvement, own tampering with the blood. Later on, I will show during the 30 cases locally where she's talking openly about how much blood was on where, from what, changing of bloody and wet clothing, muddy, wet, and bloody clothing, the blood all over a wall and floor, more than what would be on any clothing, no matter how many, covered in blood, mud, and water. The mud and water wouldn't have been all over the floor, the walls, like she explains. Joshua Lanks, who she's talking about. We'll get to this here in a few. And show these little twats, the nutless wonders. My chair, by the way, can lay down. I'm laying. I'm waiting. That's what I thought. You can talk a major, big game behind a screen. Just like you told me. But to do in person. Hell, I'll make it easy for you. I'll recline back and lay and wait. Give you guys a heads up. I'm a good shot. Even laying down. This is why we're about to get to the Book of Troth here in a second. Openly taunting the police, telling them where to look, how to look for the signatures that you left, along with your elders. Brad Holder, that was taunting the police and the families at the same time, still have and still are. Like I said, this is what he thinks. And like I said, if Michael Curtis did what he was supposed to in Karina McClurkin's, he would have already known about this. The Sons of Odin, why he was up in Delphi. And it's kind of sick. You're involved with two little girls that were just murdered, and you're talking about giving me dead presidents while you're searching for two little girls. And like I said, Marlena's on recording, admitting that she was called by Gabrielis to come to the real crime scene, his daughter's apartment. No sooner it happened to get her cell phone and glasses, the same cell phone when I texted and called, she would have had possession of. Would the ping show it was at her location, not the real crime scene of 105 East Harrison? The next day, when I asked, did you make it home alive? I didn't ask, did you make it home alive, but did you make it home? And for me to find out years later, she never even made it home alive. And what happened to her? To think that her mom had her cell phone, had it charged. The calls that I made to her cell phone after the text, she didn't keep a promise. I had her promise me, if I was to text and call, if I got a response text-wise to make sure it was her, please answer the phone. That promise was unfulfilled. It did pick up for about 20-30 seconds. I could hear people talking the other end. Mind you, this is very intriguing if her mom picked up the cell phone like she's on a recording of doing so. Remember Steve Mullins? This is a story of two families. That I chose to talk to and asking questions. So her brother was on the same fire department? So you mean, was her brother one of the firefighters that was standing around watching the floor girls fire? Mind you, I'm talking about the same individuals that were taunting the families in 2022. And I want you to notice two different families, how they talk to a certain individual. This is where I have to give respect to Becky. I give respect where respect's given and shown. I was getting parts where, yes, she's admitting that Derek and other family members, including some of her own, knew each other. So what? And I never said she's low as they are. And I never said Derek made a call to settle a score. Out of anything I've ever said, I've never said that. Like I said, feel free anytime during this video to pause and read through what I'm showing. And look, she decided to block me. This next batch after hers, another family member. I've actually spoke to Mike Patty multiple times. When it came to Gabe Ellis, this drug ring, the Sons of Odin issue, I proved to him on the phone where to look and why. They were openly taunting the families and the law enforcement after they stopped looking. Why? Does the Good Old Boys Club, that drug ring, the dealers inside that drug ring, have anything to do with it? Remember, this is not once but twice she brings up the meth girl and the earrings. The same earrings Tina Riddell's talking about her daughter coming home with. You see this the first time talked about? Wait till later. And this is Anna saying there was false confessions by the dozens. This before Richard Allen and the so-called forced confessions. How do we know? The light-colored Mustang with paper plates, Paige Turley bought soon right after she disposed of and got rid of the truck that was used in Karina McClurkin's case. She got a light-colored Mustang with paper plates the time at Delphi. Instead of reading these through, I just figured you could read for yourself. Like I said, pause at any time. You remember I said probably got meth girl's earrings out there too? That'd be convenient. And remember some of the things she's saying and how she's saying it and how she's talking to me. Keep this in mind when you read Becky Patty's conversations with me and the respect that was shown and reciprocated in return. Respect is earned, never given. I'm not here to make friends. I'm here for justice and I'm here for truth. And of course, they looked into Gabe Ellis, Tyler Joe French, Kyle Stacy, Brad Holder, same individuals that were taunting the law enforcement. Their ties back to this drug ring, the ones being paid off, the ones making millions as sitting elected officials, some prosecutors over some very important cases that go back to this case, among others, like Gabe Ellis's sweetheart bill. Like I said, this is all before the 30 cases that I'm breaking down. Delphi, Karina, Flora, Logansport fires, Daniel Haidt. The list goes on. Sorry, I sped through that one. And it would make a difference. When IMPD looked, what did they see? What did they admit? Ties and connections back to Karina, Delphi, Flora, and more. Mind you, people were making fun of me. I lost my thumb and 40% of my right hand with a brown recluse bite that about took my life. So I cannot feel, and I don't have use of 40% of my right hand. So the same disabilities I have, she's making fun of. And I did bring this up to her multiple times. So excuse my grammar, my punctuation, my disabilities that you knew of multiple times. And no one believes me. It doesn't help when families and law enforcement, they're laughing beside, telling me to shut up, not to look at the same people they stopped looking at that were openly taunting them. Who's Miss Fucking Wonderful now? Their friends, the content creators that are still leaking the crime scene photos. And if they would have looked and acted the FBI informant files under the name Baffy with the Joint Terrorism Task Force. Michael Curtis, what had him already months ahead of time looking at that Sons of Odin new little group, Nordic Kindred, they made. They were already looking at that group as a threat to life and as a domestic terrorism issue. So, yes, I could have been of much help. Still can. Still will. And notice, this is something that Carrie brought up, and how she feels about Carrie. You've got Anna bringing it up as well. We get to what I think about Carrie. God bless her soul. The threats that go back to ones like Elvis Fields, Rick and Shelley Collins, that a family member of hers has allowed talking to her, the threats that are allowed to be around her, the protections that are not on her, the one that was speaking the most truth and looking and listening, asking the right questions. I'll bring this up later during the 30 cases. What happened in Prince William Road? But keep in mind, Gabriel Ellis's in September 6, 2008. If you look his case up, as well as hers, it wasn't where? Delphi? Carroll County? It was in Miami County. Why? One thing I want to bring up of a recent post, and especially if that castle made out of glass, I've said multiple times, when it's blown, and that glass is not blown of sand, but meth, and that castle made of glass, all it takes is one rock in the right direction to hit it for it to be crumbling down. Something I actually agree with something recently she put. Like I said, respect is earned, never given. And when it comes to victims, I've told multiple families I'm here not to make friends, but for justice, in full, to the full extent. And I'll show multiple times she read everything I sent her. May seem like a lot and gibberish to you guys, but when families or dealers inside this drug ring and they knew it, they were making ties and then they were pushing. But when she made the promise to tell Carter, did she? Or did they know where to push? Where they made sure somebody was unbelieved, just like Anna wanted, just like this ring wants. These dealers, these serial killers want. I've had so many people tell me to shut up, stop talking, give it up, nothing to see, doesn't affect me. It does directly. Like I said, the one person, Mike Patty, Becky Patty, showed me respect. No matter what I said, no matter what I showed. You see, this is all the day I did this video. She still has not blocked me like another person did. She has not attacked me. She did not discredit me and what I had to say, where I was looking, and why. The same group. Her son-in-law, where is it? I'm not even gonna get to how that's put together, but Derek German was dealing for, was around. She didn't choose to attack me. I even showed her the admission from Sarah Daly's own family. Like I said, after this video comes the full breakdown. This cartel, the Kingpin families, who they are, what they are, Dukes, Chavez, among many others. If Becky or Anna would have pressed this themselves to Carter, it would have gotten actions. Baby Amia Robertson would still be here. Her mother and her boyfriend, they're friends that tie back to other cases in Indianapolis. You'll see in the next few videos. Baby Amia Robertson's another one. I tied with the 30 cases up here, and it'd be one of the cases you will see outside of the general area for the first 30 cases. Like I said many times during this video, I'm going through a lot of this fast to conserve time. But like I said multiple times now, pause, take all the time you need at what's being shown. So far, this is the story of two different families. How they chose to talk to somebody, the respect shown, given. And remind you, Anthony Greeno, I'll get to you here shortly, but your friend Christine Martin, the dealer in Flora, who sets friends, even on her new page, with elected officials then and now, Flora firefighters then and now, your dealers, your suppliers, your friends, the same friends that you made a threat to me, you're wanting justice. But yet when I look, I'm a snitch that deserves death. I better watch. Do I really need to show the messenger you sent me? All it takes is a phone call from you to let them know where I'm at? To silence me? And just wait, Anthony, your friends, Casey, Conwell, your self-admissions of getting leaked to crime scene photos, your friends, their friends, where they go back to, the same ones that want me dead, we'll get to you in the 30 cases. Your friends, who they are and where they go back to, as well as you. I was telling them as the truth as a former FBI informant, myself being an informant, the rights and protections, that and witnesses and victims, the rights and protections that should be there, they're not there. The same ones openly taunting Becky, Mike, Derek, Anna, Carrie, among others. Law enforcement, they were taunting them all along, just like their elders. Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, this is the third, the one that was asking the right questions, calling the investigation that we are now seeing such a mess it was. The one person that was speaking out, listening, looking, asking the right questions, speaking up. The story of three families. Why didn't the FBI mention the investigation they were doing? And I don't blame her. We'll get to the militia group. Back to friends with one of his state troopers, Tony Slocum. Frank Castiello. We'll get all into him in the 30 plus cases. Back to the Bundy standoffs, multiple federal armed standoffs that he played a major role in. That sits in my FBI informant files with domestic terrorism suspects like him and over 24 others, many of which belong friends with Gabe, Tyler, Brad Holder, Patrick Westfall, Elvis Fields, openly showing their militia ties. And like I said, over 24 of these names will be shown on Tony Slocum's, not Tony Liggett, but Tony Slocum's friends list. How's that acceptable? Domestic terrorism suspects, one of which set on a troop of yours friends list? The same militia group going back to being training at Ron Logan's property? FBI knows all about this. It sits in my files. Downs to prove more than enough the friends I'm talking about, Tony, sit on your friends list, as well as a sheriff in Boone County, Michael Nelson. Like I said, my health, my kidney failure with only one kidney, the threats on me, I'm already a walking dead man. Now this I'm going to speed through, but like I said, pause where you need. The Book of Truth, in English, the Book of Truth. Kyle Stacy was showing the police where to look and why, back to him and his friends. Openly taunting them. Then the Famlies in 2022 when he shared their post. This is the same book. They picked and choose what they wanted to make their own kindred, the sons of Odin. Their elders, like Elder Westfall and Elder Holder, were self-appointed. Why say self-appointed? And it makes me wonder, a true elder, it takes what to become? Would have helped if a sitting elder of a kindred was a what and at where and then was confronted and asked by Indiana State Police. You'll see why I say this here in a few. How to become an elder in any group. But this is the same book Kyle Stacy was showing the police and the families, taunting them where to look and why to look back at his group. They're taunting, just like Brad Holder, their elder, along with Patrick Westfall, taunting the police at the same time as well as the families. But yeah, I'm the laughingstock. My story's never changed. It's only added to it, the suspects, the cases. There's over 100 pages, so I'm going to speed through these. Like I said, pause where you need. And you remember, you do have the option when I'm speeding through things to slow the video down. Like I said, I'm in the AC now, so if you hear it in the background, it's annoying. I am sorry. All this needed to be seen, exposed, and shown. Like I said, they picked and chose what they made their kindred, the sons of Odin, what to follow, how to follow, off this book and other Google searches they did. And this was not my doing. This is whoever copied it and posted it. I'm just showing what they put. And keep in mind, Gabrielis was a Saxonite up until you got the child charges. And they're claiming that he's having a rough time in prison. Him and the others that are allowed to walk, not get the charges. He's spending his time quietly. By another certain individual being set up to take the fall in place of him and the others yet again in another case. If only the law took the time to know what that agent over me, Michael Curtis, knew all about. If only they listened and acted, Michael Curtis, lives could have been prevented, lost, and affected by this ring and the criminal network analysis that sits in my files. It was more than enough to get you up in Delphi. Doing that investigation, it took till recently for you to admit you and the Joint Terrorism Task Force, just like I've said from the very beginning. I've spoke the truth, said the truth to many, begging to be heard, give the voiceless a voice, to prevent victims like myself and the ones that are alive from happening. They were openly showing you where to look and why to look at them. Why did you refuse? Why did you look the other way? The Good Old Boys Club? The higher elected of politicians like Jamie Noel, their friends? What pushed you to look in the other direction, but yet now admit that there is others involved, taunting the police openly, taunting these families, threatening witnesses, informants, one speaking up, killing said individuals more than once. But take the time, I beg of you, to really read through this book and to understand these trailer trash fucking twats, nutless wonders, pieces of shit. The video on my community wall, I hunt pieces of shit one at a time or rings at a time. Any threat, foreign, domestic, to my people, my nation, even out of uniform, out of that oath is to that country, my nation, against any and all enemies, foreign and domestic. So help me God, till the day I die. And some of you that took that same oath to attack me and other veterans that speak up, and the only thing we're speaking up on, like me, I've said the same story over and over for years, begging people to look, begging actions to be taken, lives from being lost, preventing further victims. I was let go. Why? Because I was trying to save lives, prevent more victims. I was put in a walk in a hard place, backed up against the wall, to speak out on this agent's lies, disregard, negligence. Like I said before, the Uvalde and the nightclub shooting down in Florida, Joint Terrorism Task Force, Indianapolis, and Florida, new intel, refused to act. 2 times they were forced to admit new intel, refused to act. How about the 4th time? Larry Nassar, FBI new intel, refused to act, allowed a child predator to continue. Sound familiar? Look at these child predators, including the predator, older one, that had control over Keegan Kline, Gabriel Ellis. Remember Blaine Nelson admits Gabe Ellis sent who? Keegan Kline to from Kokomo, Delphi area, for a pickup for that drug ring. After a marriage. You'll see that marriage during the 30 cases. Right before I go into all 70 and a full unload, unleash everything I know. The cases, the ties, connections. Like I said, in the first 30 cases, there's over 71 cases. Now over 20 children. Remember Renee Anthony Charles Greeno? I'm going to give a hint to your dealers, your friends, the ones you were involved with, the crimes they were involved with more than once you were around, assisting there. I'm going to give a hint before I drop the 30 cases locally. We'll just give a hint of what's to come. And you'll see doubles of some of these. But like I said, with him making money, being involved, his friends, his dealers, him looking is getting justice, getting paid. And remember talking about it, this is one of many death threats from his friends. And don't bother. The number's been changed. Remember, hunting one evil piece of shit at a time, or when it becomes necessary, one ring at a time. Remember other admissions? This is 48 hours missing Karina McClurkin's case. Sierra Daly, her family, her sisters, letting boyfriends know that Karina was dead, 48 hours missing. And she's talking about Paige Daly. But like I said, him looking, it's getting justice. Me looking, I'm a little snitch to his friends, him, his dealers, the ones he's involved with, the ones he did crimes with. I'm a snitch that deserves nothing but death in his eyes. You coward, little bitch, nutless wonder like your friends.